Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Man, thank you for lending me those wonderful ears. Hey, today I want to talk about high leverage activities. Now, I want to give it a different twist. Let's talk about high leverage activities. I love that phrase, by the way. Now, I remember the story about a professor, and you may have heard the story as well, but let me just kind of lay it out there for those who haven't heard it. Professor goes at the front of class. He has this big glass bowl, right? And he puts two giant rocks in the bowl, and he asks the students, is the glass bowl filled? Can I put any more in? Students yelled, no, you can't. He then takes out a bag of small rocks, and then he puts those small rocks in the same glass bowl and fills it to the top, and he asks, is it filled now? Class said yes. He said no. Then he takes out some little small pebbles, puts some in there, kind of fits them in there as well. And now he says, is it full now? They say yes. He says no. Then he takes sand, pours more sand in the actual bowl and fits in the crevices, right? Fills it up. And now he asks the students, is it full now? The students say yes. He says no. He then grabs water and adds water. And finally, the bowl is full. Now, I've always loved that visual because the point there is that when you begin with the big stuff first and then move towards the smaller stuff, you can get more in the bowl. What does that mean to you? In your daily activities, let's get the big rocks done first, the high leverage activities. Now, I want you to think about your day. What is the biggest task you have to complete today? Every day, what is that task or tasks with an S that you have to complete? Let's do the big stuff first, and then we move down the line and do the smaller stuff. These are high leverage activities. Now, let me tie this in with a book that was written by Daniel Pink called When. In the book When, which I highly recommend, there's this one model that he uses. He says, look, everybody, you included, we have a circadian rhythm. In other words, throughout the day, our energy level changes. And what he discovered is, let's say from 7 in the morning to almost midday, noon, he says we're in peak condition, so to speak. Our energy is at peak condition. And then after lunch, it begins to drop. We've all felt that, right? It begins to drop. He calls that the trough period. And then somewhere around 5 or 6 o'clock, there's this recovery period, right? So again, peak morning to noon. Trough, go down after 12 to maybe 5 or 6 p.m. And then after 6 p.m., we have a recovery, got a little more energy going for us. Now, he said, now let's look at the tasks you should be performing during these different time periods. He says in the morning, when you're moving into that peak zone, early morning to midday, he says that's when you should do your high leverage activity. He says that's when you do your highly focused work. That was his word. Focused work should be done in the morning. Midday, he says, when your energy level just goes down, guess what? That's when he says you should focus on your administrative work. You know, that brain dead type of work, like, fill out the report, do this, just basic, fill in the database, fill in your CRM, things of that nature, really mundane stuff. And then after 6 p.m., that's when he says you should do your creative and insightful thinking/work. And I love this because if you think about the first part of the day, if we can get the big rocks done, maybe it's prospecting, reaching out, sending out emails, connecting with people on social media, setting up meetings with important clients. Let's get the big rocks done first. And as we move through the day, let's get the smaller stuff done. And at the end of the day, if you follow that rhythm, get the high leverage activities done first, by the time you complete the day, you feel good about yourself and you won't have that lingering thought that we all have sometimes at the end of the day. Man, I got nothing done today. I really didn't get anything done today. And I am saying to you that if you can do your high leverage activities early, get them out of the way, knock them out first thing, 2 rocks in the bowl, your high leverage activities early, the rest of the day will fall in place. And that is it for the Sales Influence Podcast. I want to motivate you to do more. And again, do your research, do your homework, do your calling, do whatever you have to do. Knock it out first, and then enjoy the rest of the day and get the smaller tasks done. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you that selling and doing ain't hard once you know how. Take care.
Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.